No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Momentum Monday. Let me just say it is a wonderful, marvelous, glorious day that the Lord's made every day, and we're rejoicing and we're exceedingly glad in it. Today, I'm especially rejoicing because I have an amazing, special, wonderful, indefatigable, ready to do big things in the world guest, Michael Strasner. You know, I've been talking about this ever since he said yes. And for those of you who know the story, what I do every morning is that every Monday morning, we read from a book, and I chose Michael's book, and for several reasons we'll get into. And this was not planned. So this is what we're going to be talking about. This was not planned. I just said, you know what? I'm actually going to reach out to Michael and ask him to come on the show and speak to you guys directly about the impetus for the book and what it is that he is doing in the world and what he's causing and creating. And I just slid into his DM, like I've never messaged Michael in his DM before. And he said yes. And, I train on this all the time. Jesus says you have not because you ask not. And so the prices I was willing to pay was to be rebuffed, to say, oh, I'm super important, master trainer, high performance coach. I don't have time for these penny ante things. And I asked, and he said yes, and he is here. So Momentum Crew, get excited. Amber, beautiful. Thank you as always for being number one in the Momentum Crew. Coach Azadeh, yes, good morning. HL, Coach is in the house. Yes, Michael is here. OMG. Kathy, I know you've had this on your planner since I said it's a go. I am so excited for you to be here. Yes, Facebook user it's Judith. Yes, badass. We're off to a great start. So let me tell you a little bit about this man. This man who saw me before I saw myself. This man who said to me, Faith, you can't hide, so don't even try. I am so blessed beyond repair to have met him, to have sat at his feet, to have had counsel, to have had training, to have up-leveled my leadership in a way that it has never been up-leveled before and continues to be up-leveled because, well, we know transformation is a journey, right? It's not a destination. And to have him, I'm like kind of fangirling, to have him in the studio with us, for him to take the time. This is when somebody is in radical generosity. To take the time, suffice it to say, he is busy. He is a master trainer. His book, which we're reading from today, if you haven't had the chance yet to get the book, please get the book. Available on Amazon. Michael's a best-selling author, and that doesn't come lightly when you're talking about of two books. His other book, which we are going to read, so Michael, just get ready because we're going to have you back, Living on the Skinny Branches. So just visualize what that means. If you see a tree and there's like the big trunk that's like safely anchored, and then you have the strong branches, and then you've got the skinny branches way out there. that you get to live on those skinny branches. I just am beyond. Kathy says, love that radical generosity. Yes, and we're going to talk about it. So listen, we are not going to do a lot of chit chat with just me. I want to bring Michael on. So everybody get ready, get your journal. This is, and first, let me just say this. You don't get to have Michael Strasner unless you're like in a paid program. Like he's just not out there loitering the streets, jumping on people's places here and there. So the fact that he is here, consider yourself blessed, consider yourself anointed, consider yourself being in the right place, because this is going to be, if you're not already on a transformation journey, this is the journey. Michael, welcome to the Brand Momentum Morning Show. I am so eternally grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great to be here, Faith. Good morning. Hello. It's great to see you and listen to you and be empowered and inspired by your vision and your commitment and your generosity. So, yes, taking risks really makes a difference. And when you take a risk, sometimes it's a perceived risk. Yes. So
Yes.
you took a perceived risk by sending me a DM, and I was a big yes. So there was no have to in it. So it's a real privilege. And I love working with you, and I love making a difference with you, and I love being in communication with you. I mean, I feel like I get in giving, and it's a two-way flow. So I feel empowered. You know, I love working with people like you and playing with people like you in the world.
Yeah, so we're going to have so much fun today. So guys, listen, you are in the right place. Facebook user, and who this is, says, yes, let's get down to business. Yes, here we are. Share this video. If you are on any of the Facebook platforms, you should be able to see a share button. Share, because this is a gift that so many people get to know about this work. So many people get this book. So many people get to learn about the distinctions that are contained within this book, because they are life shifting, they're life transforming. Good morning, Milo. Oh, I love that. Good morning, Michael. The people are here. They're like, where's the share button? Find it, share, tag. If you don't see a share button, tag. Everybody gets to be in on this conversation. So, Michael, we're going to do a couple of things. Number one, I love to start off with having the audience get to know who the special guests are. Before we go deep into the work, I'm going to do a little thing that we call this or that. Okay. So
Sure.
it's Monday morning. You are waking up. What is the first thing that you are putting into your body in terms of hydration? Is it water with lemon and a little lavender, or is it coffee? Is it this or that?
Water, definitely water, followed up by coffee.
Yeah, just like me. The hydration is key, people. You heard it. High performance coach is telling you the first thing you get to put in your body when you wake is water. Water.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yes. Amber says, thank you, Michael, for joining us. What a blessing. Amber's one of our regular Momentum crews. Yeah, we see you too. Okay. So you are invited to a dinner party. You are wearing what? You are wearing your best off the runway look because you know it's really never a danger to overdress, or are you in your golf button down and some shorts and flip flop because you like to just keep it easy and relaxed? This or
Well,
that?
in general, I'm going to go with more on the casual side, but I'll always adapt to the environment. So I check in with my wife if I'm, of course, going to the dinner party with her. What's the ensemble, and then we go through the the possibilities and the options.
I love that. Listen, I am big on fashion, but I'm also very big on comfort as well. It needs to be a both and, Michael. It
Of
really.
course, I could dress up, but I could also totally put on shorts, no problem.
Absolutely. So they're serving, they have choices.
Yeah.
What would you like to eat, Mr.
Ooh.
Strasner?
Ooh.
We're serving pecan crusted salmon, or we're doing the 48-ounce cowboy steak. This or that?
I got to go with the salmon, even though I'm not a huge fish person, but I'm definitely not a red meat person. So
Now is that by choice or is that by necessity?
100% choice, responsibility to my health. So it's just a conscious choice.
Love it. Love it. And then last but not least, at the dinner party, they are convening a workshop
Mm.
in California and another in Houston. And you can get from Houston to California either by commercial. They're going to hire a sprinter, or you can jump on the private jet. How are you going?
I'm going commercial, and I'm fantasizing that I'm on a private jet.
I love it. Visualization is so important when you're talking about building your high performance. Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you for playing along, Michael. That was super fun. Now, the book, and again, Mastering Leadership, 12 Distinctions of Master Leaders. What was the impetus for this book, this one in particular?
Well, I'm a lifelong trainer and coach, and mainly focusing around leadership. And I have learned through the years that the greatest and most powerful and important aspect of leadership is not what I can do or the impact that I can make. It's really what I can cause or create or bring alive in other people. And so what I've spent my lifetime doing as a trainer is evoking leadership in others. And so I wanted to come up with a way to offer the tools and the steps for people, whether they've done transformational training work or they have coaching in their life, or they're looking to get that edge. I wanted to give as many people as possible throughout not only the United States, but the world, an opportunity to transform the quality of their life and realize what matters most. And what matters most to me is not only what I'm doing or what I'm creating, but what I can also empower and inspire in other people. So I get it about the rippling effect. So if I throw a pebble into the lake, what will happen from throwing that pebble? It will become a rippling effect. So I myself personally don't see that I'm going to transform the world, but what I can do is be a fire starter and light the pilot light in millions of people. And ultimately, the domino effect can occur and will occur. And that's the vision, so that everybody throughout the world gets to live a transformed life.
I love that. I love the analogy of the pilot light, because when you think about changing the world, and when we say we stand as source of a transformed world, it feels big, it feels
Oh, yeah.
massive, it feels insurmountable. It's like there is just no way. How is this possible? But if you break it down, right? So seeing the forest for the trees, when you break it down to, I'm going to start here and I'm going to be the fire starter, I'm going to be the pilot lighter. I love that. So everybody in the audience, hashtag I'm a fire starter, right? I'm a fire starter. Hashtag I'm a fire starter. This is one of the key takeaways. Yes, absolutely. Be the fire starter, be the pilot light, because doesn't that make it so much more palatable and doable? And it gives you the sense of like, it's not just me, even though in leadership, we do talk about the fact that if it's to be, it's up to me, but sometimes it feels so heavy. But if you really just come to, and I love this, Michael, be the pilot light. Be the pilot light. Yes, Amber, she's a fire starter. Yes, Kathy, be the fire. Marion, yes, 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 yes. Okay. So the book comes out, and what was your reaction to the first, because I looked through all of the testimonials and the reviews, and there's so many people from so many walks of life who've been really both transformed and connected to, and just inspired by the work. When you started to get the feedback, talk to me about that.
Overwhelmed, emotionally empowered, humbled, incredibly humbled. Uh, you know, I I I don't like to ask for things from people. So it's like one of my never-ending challenges is to ask for something from somebody. I love to give. I don't mind giving. Giving is not a problem. It's the asking something from somebody else and being vulnerable, and maybe they say no. But when when I was receiving this feedback and acknowledgement and recognition for the book, what I really got was that it wasn't so much that people were thanking me, it's that they were showing appreciation and showing gratitude while simultaneously living it in their own lives.
Yeah.
And that to me is the greatest gift of the whole thing. Like if somebody buys a book for yourself and you read it for yourself, that's wonderful and amazing. And if you really read it and apply it, you can create incredible results and breakthroughs and so on. But what I love is when somebody buys 10 books for their family. Or the other day I just actually had somebody buy 40 books for their office. Things like that. What I
Yeah.
love about that is that the person doesn't hasn't even read the book yet, but they're already thinking about who they can make a difference with and
Yeah.
who they want to share it with. And that goes back to my rippling effect. So at the end of the day, I don't need credit. It's not about credit. It's about making it happen. And it's a confirmation that it's happening. So
Yes.
that's what it feels like to me. It's incredibly empowering, humbling, grateful, and inspiring. It makes me want to play bigger. It makes me want to do something else, create on another level.
I love it. And it's exactly that. And I think that, one of the things I wanted to read from the cover, it says, you look for people in life that can get the best out of you. Michael Strasner can get the best out of anyone. Ronnie Lott, NFL All Pro Safety Hall of Fame 2000. And that is so true. This is why I love you always and forever, because your way of being, and this is not about comparing to any other trainer, but just for me, what lit me up, and I know what lights up other people about Michael Strasner. This is what I mean. Your name, it's sort of like hallowed, and not trying to be blasphemous, but your energy, your way of being comes from a place of lightness, comes from a place of love, comes from a place of showing them their possibility, not taking a ruler and spanking them and saying, oh, you woefully, silly child. But it's the awakening to, yes, you do have greatness in you, and you do it from a place of love, of true love, of authentic love, like authenticity. We know one of the distinctions of breakthrough. You do it from that place, and everyone feels it. I feel it. So I just want to give you credit for your ways of being. That is that you come from this place of, you see everyone in their highest high. You know that all
Thank you.
things are possible. You believe
Well,
that to your core.
Well, thank you. I really do. And I want to say something about that, about you, because you are one of many people I've had in a training. And I could say, oh, yeah, Faith is like everybody, but you're not like everybody. Day one, I remember day one of my training with you, you were sharing, one of the first people to share. And I thought to myself, I'm absolutely in love with Faith. Faith gets it. Faith is playing a game bigger than self. Faith gets the vision, gets the big picture. And so, you know what? I'm going to say that that's one of the things that I think you and I actually have in common and share. You could do a lot of things, and I'm sure you do, and you're successful, and you are, but you also love people. You care about people. You're generous with your time, generous with your energy, generous with your heart. And the reality is, I believe that's what makes people not just successful, but it also creates a lasting impact, like an extraordinary impact that goes beyond numbers.
Yeah.
I want to make money. You want to make money. We all want to have results in our lives. But when we care about people, when we love people, when we allow ourselves to partner with people, to connect with them about what matters to them, not just what matters to us, then I believe that we create such a deep level of trust and possibility that it inspires confidence in them to create things they never thought they could ever create. But it also fuels our hearts, makes me want to love more, makes me want to give more. So when I have a coaching session or work with somebody like you, it doesn't make me want to take a break. It doesn't make me want to, okay, I'm done with Faith. Now I need like a week off.
Yeah.
No, who's next? Like, let's go. I'm
Let's
ready to rock
go.
and roll. So it's that river, it's a flow.
Yes. And absolutely. I don't know who this Facebook user is, but thank you. I received that. And this is why it's so important to focus on who you get to be. Because one of the things I say, and I know, like I know, God says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. God calls you his masterpiece. God makes no mistakes. So if he's calling you masterpiece, you get to have that as your first clue that I get to be doing masterpiece like stuff. And if you look around your life, and you don't see it, this is your opportunity. Get the book. This is your opportunity to say, okay, I am not in this show on accident. I am here to hear from Faith, to hear from Michael Strasner specifically. And where do I get to go? You get to go to Amazon. You get to get the book. You get to start reading it, because I'm telling you, the minute you start into it's such a well-written book. It's just like you. It's so conversational. I can feel it. I can hear the conversations. So we're going to jump in. I want to give you, this is going to be a little bit of a lightning round laser coaching. So
Okay.
for those of you who have had the book, good morning, beautiful L, leadership in the house. For those of you who've had the book, great. Maybe you've had some questions about some of the chapters. Michael's here to illuminate for you. If you haven't yet gotten the book, this is going to make you want to get it. So distinction number one, we're just going to roll through them, Michael. Vision. Right? We know when we do leadership, it all starts with the vision. And we know that people are not walking around going, oh, what is my vision for my world? What is my vision? Right? Not a conversation most people are having. And we get to shift that, because this is where it all starts. In scripture, Habakkuk 2:2 says, without vision, the people perish. God's already told us that. So this is not anything brand new. Michael's just bringing it to you in a different way. Talk to us about vision.
Well, vision is essential in life for leaders, but it's also essential for families. It's essential for your business. It's essential for your health. A vision is essentially a declaration to create or cause something that impacts the quality of your life and impacts the quality of the lives of the people around you. And it's something that is not going to happen anyway. Things happen anyway. We wake up, we go to bed, we eat, we drink water, we have needs. We have basic survival needs. Vision has nothing to do with survival needs. Vision has to do with me as a human being having the power and the belief that I can cause or I can create something bigger than what I have in my survival needs, like the job of my dreams or the love of my life or excellent health or abundance in my career or abundance in my job. I mean, we all want something beyond what we have and beyond what we're going to have anyway. That's what vision is.
Perfect. And I love that the distinction here, everybody, it's something that was not going to happen anyway. So we don't get to take that and go, oh yeah, I get to get up and walk. No, that was going to happen anyway. Well, what are you walking toward? What are you creating? What are you causing? Like sometimes I think about my own vision and I think, sometimes it may feel it's too big, but I say to you, be audacious, be irrational, be over the top, be so bold and so wild that the people think you're crazy. And
Yeah.
prices you're willing to pay to be judged, not liked. We don't care. Go for what it is, because here's the thing: when you feel it here, and it gets to be burning desire. This is not just something like pushing. Oh, I don't know if I should do. It's a calling. It's a compelling. Like you can't even help it. You can't help it. Good morning, beautiful Jessica. She says, "Love you, Michael." That's our HCL21. Kathy says, can you touch on the distinction between vision and fantasizing, turning dream into reality versus just dreaming? Great question, Kathy.
Well, a vision is something that is attainable. Like, let's say you make $100,000 a year, and you've been essentially making that amount for, let's say, 3 years, 5 years. You have a track record. So if you continue on the path, you're more or less going to make the same amount of money. So a vision would be to make a declaration to create, let's say, $150,000. So in other words, something that wasn't going to happen anyway, but will require redesign, reinvention, a higher level of intention or commitment or dedication or effectiveness or skills. In other words, something you can learn, something you can break through in order to achieve it, in order to accomplish it. A fantasy would be like, okay, I've got this track record of making $100,000 a year for 3 years. All right, this year, my vision is to create $1 million. It's not impossible, but there's nothing in your path that indicates that this is what I'm going to call an attainable possibility. So a fantasy is really a nice idea. You can have the want. Look, I want to be a professional baseball player, but I'm 57 years old and the Red Sox are not calling me today. Okay. Can I hit a baseball? Yes. Can I throw it? Yes. But I'm not going to be signed by the Red Sox. So for me to say my vision is to play professional baseball at 57 years old, that's really not a vision. That's a fantasy. But
Yeah.
could I play on a men's league team? Could I play on a softball team? Yes, of course. So there's certain things that are possible, certain things that are attainable, certain things that are, beyond
I
what we could
love
be.
that. Thank you. Good, good answer. Al says our whole family operates that way, creating what has never existed. I love that. Okay, let's jump into now commitment to the vision. Yesterday on my Instagram, I did a post where it said committed AF. Like that is the thing that for me runs deep through my core. It's the thing that's brought me any level of success because once I've decided that this is the vision, I'm going for it. I am resolved. I am unbothered. It is in me. So talk about the commitment to the vision. What should that look like, feel like for people?
Being locked in, no plan B. So most people have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when they say I want something like a vision, they stick in and they stay in the want. I want. It's a nice idea. I'm going to try. I'm going to hope. I'm going to wish. And none of those things are bad. They just don't produce results. Like my dad used to buy a lottery ticket every day. And this was like a family thing. We all knew it. My dad always had the lottery ticket. And every single day he said, today's going to be the big one. Today's going to be the big one. I know it's going to be the big one. And for about 25 years, the most my dad ever won was like $100. Okay. But my dad didn't have a business plan where the capital was going to come from the lottery that he was playing. So you can have wishes and wants in your life, but what separates a commitment from a want is being locked in. So the vision can become real if you get locked into it, and then you get to be and do whatever it takes. Stories, excuses don't matter. You don't stop until you get the job done. I don't eat sometimes well so that I can lose weight and I can get my nutrition, in excellence. I get to do it every day, whether I want to or not, whether I like it or not. Commitment perseveres through those feelings and those emotions and those ways that we manipulate ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. We hear all the time when we're in training, commitment's not a feeling.
Yeah.
And you don't wake up and go, I don't feel like it. I always say to my client, you don't wake up and go, I don't feel like brushing my teeth today. I'm not going to deal with that. Right? It happens.
You
It
don't feel,
just
look, whether
is.
you feel like being a mom or look, if I don't feel like being a dad, I still have 5 kids. Is that going to change anything?
Exactly. I love it. DCF will be at your doors. Watch out. Okay. Distinction number 3, values. Values. So important. One of my favorite Oscar Wilde quotes is, stand for something or fall for anything. And so the things that you value in life. So talk us through a little bit on values, why that's an important distinction of leadership.
Well, whenever we make a decision or we take action in our lives, we're operating from some set of, let's call them pillars or values. And a value is the filter in which I make those choices or make those decisions. So if I've got a vision and I'm committed to the vision, well, then the values are consistent with the vision. So if my vision is to create love and peace and forgiveness in my family, then I'm not going to be let's say, having conference calls with my brothers and sisters where we're gossiping about each other. And I'm not going to be, having meetings around the water cooler in my office where we're gossiping about the boss while I'm simultaneously saying I've got a vision to create team and to create unity in our company. Okay, so the values are the choices and the decisions that I make being lined up and connected to the behaviors that are going to produce that vision, so the vision becomes real.
I mean, so clear. I mean, people, let me know, is this landing? Is this number 3 not landing so hard for you? Because we get to be in alignment. It's one thing to go on a stage and say, yes, I'm here for world peace and I'm here to empower women. And you go back, as Michael says, to your office or wherever, and people know you're out there telling people's business in the street. You yourself are acting like a hot mess in the street, but then you stand on stage and go, oh, I'm a visionary. I'm here for the women. You get to live it and be it. It doesn't get to be mutually exclusive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kathy says it's landing like a bag of bricks in a good way. Landing, exactly. So you get to really be sure that whatever vision it is that you have for yourself, you double check, you check yourself. I always say, do a self audit. Like, let's just keep it 100 and keep it real. Is this way of being that you're being right now in alignment, in lockstep? Does it dovetail with the vision?
Yep.
Only you and God will be able to answer that. And I said, pretend that God's right here. Like, your hand is the face of God. And he's asking you, are you being in alignment with your vision? Are you acting in a way that's going to be what it is that you say? And if you can answer God here, then you're good. But if you're like shying away because the heat's getting too strong, then you get some work to do. So
can I give one
Yeah,
quick powerful example of that?
for
So
sure.
let's say you want to have a 10 relationship. You want to be in love, you want to have a 10 relationship. So do you lie when you're dating? How many people lie casually, like without any effort?
Yes.
So if you say you want a 10 relationship, your vision is to create a 10 relationship. Does lying support that? Does being dishonest support that? Does withholding support that? Of course not. So the
No.
values would be honesty, would be integrity, would be authenticity. Yeah. So,
And you be that unapologetically.
yes.
Awesome. Distinction number 4, enrollment. Talk to us. So for those not in leadership, they may hear that and hear it in a different context. So just give us the context globally and then talk us through why that's a distinction of leadership.
Life is an enrollment game, and it's true everywhere. So whatever you're enrolled in, whatever your point of view is, whatever you're excited about, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're angry about, whatever you're committed to in life, you're always looking for other people to confirm it. And so one of the ways we confirm things is by getting other people either to agree with us, align with us, or get on board. So if you look at leaders, all of the great leaders throughout history, they were master enrollers, which means they had a vision and they shared the vision. They were committed to the vision, and then they evoked that vision in other people so other people could take hold of it. So take Martin Luther King, for example, one of my heroes. Martin Luther King has been dead for over 50 years, but he's still enrolling people. People are still enrolled in the vision of having a dream, having a vote, having power, having autonomy in their life, having freedom, having self-respect. So the legacy still lives on, and it lives on in other people, other generations. So that's enrollment. Enrollment is when I bring alive the vision that I have or see for others in a way that they can see it for themselves. They take it on, they embody it, and then they pay it forward.
Love, love, love. I mean, I recently started walking in the morning, my new morning routine, walking 5.5 miles every morning. And just as you talked about, just instinctively, I started enrolling my friends when I was on the phone, talking to this one, talking to that one. I'm like, oh my goodness, the morning routine, it's great. You get to do all of these wonderful things because I see the value for myself and I believe in it. And this is like my new me, my new vision for my life, for my health. I get to have a 10 out of 10. When I was in
Yeah.
leadership, Ash asked me, and I wrote in the chat, my relationship with myself with regard to my health was a 5 out of 10. And I was like, oh, no, that gets to shift. That gets to
Yes.
shift. And so I'm very committed now. Even when I don't feel like it, I get up, I put my shoes on, and I go and I walk. And I'm really enrolling a lot of people in that. So yeah, absolutely love that. So guys, enrollment's not just about enrolling people in a program. I know we have a lot of coaches, a lot of business owners. It's not the money play side of things. This is about your vision. What do you believe in, and who else gets to come along with you? I think about Jesus Christ being like the ultimate enroll. It's like, I have a vision. I'm going to make you fishers of men. It's like, come. And there they were, like, okay, we're enrolled. We get it.
Absolutely.
What the fuck, go for it anyway. Love it. Change. Distinction number 5. My mom has a saying she always says, she's like, Faith, the only thing that's constant in life is change. Talk to us about change as it regards being a distinction.
Okay, it's important that when I am living my life as a leader, that I also understand that sometimes things are not going to go as planned. And so we get opportunities to redesign and reinvent ourselves when things are not going as planned. Sometimes things are working, and then I'll get into a complacent way of being and thinking it's always going to be like this, and then it's not. So one of the things that I always coach my leaders to do is to be prepared for anything and to embrace it when it comes, so that you are powerful in the face of all of those different opportunities and challenges that you get. Because we don't like change. We're uncomfortable with change. We're uncomfortable with being out of control. But if we are owning our power and owning our confidence, then we can embrace it. And then we have the power to come up with solutions and ideas and new ways to create things.
Absolutely. And we're living it right now. They're leaders who, when the pandemic happened and everything had to go from in person to online, who had resisted, absolutely. We said before, I would never do a course. You can't really deliver high touch, high value programs through Zoom or through Microsoft Teams. And they stood and they held, and then they got passed by, because guess what? The world is moving, the change is happening. And as long as you can still stick into your value, that you're still delivering the value that you're committed to, the changes, how do we go from in person to online? How do we go offline, online? And it's a perfect example for that. Number 6, one of my favorite distinctions, risk taking. And I wanted to, I highlighted a section that I think I did highlight the section. Michael, give me one second. Risk taken is in number 6, where it talks about when we look deeply at what's under our fears, we often find survival at the root of them. You may have heard this acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real. It's so true. False evidence appearing real, because let's just take my example of reaching out to you. If I had in my mind had a false evidence, a false narrative, Michael Strasner is an influencer, Michael Strasner's too business, Michael Strasner only deals with CEO and leadership of Fortune 10, Fortune 100 company, he would never have time for me. So that would be an infused fear. And I make it real. It's like, oh my gosh, he's going to say no. He's going to say, girl, bye, girl. And then, so I make it real. So I have that fear, and it causes me to freeze. It causes me to take no action. And look at what the missed opportunity, look at the gift of what we've got. So many people on live, so many people are going to watch the replay. And if I didn't take that step of saying, I say this all the time, are you going to trust your lying eyes? Because your eyes will look and tell, oh, this is never going to happen. This can't happen. And then you miss the opportunity. So talk to us about risk taking.
Well, most people think they're afraid of the unknown, but I don't think people are afraid of the unknown. I think that people are afraid of the known repeating itself.
Wait a minute. Rewind. People are not afraid of the unknown. They are afraid of the known repeating itself.
Exactly.
Wow.
So let's talk about take a moment and think about relationship for a minute. If I've been in a relationship and I was hurt and I'm experiencing hurt and pain, then the story I tell myself if I meet somebody else, or if I'm going to meet somebody else, or if I have a chance to meet somebody else or start something with somebody else, is I'm afraid of this person hurting me. No, I'm not. I'm afraid that this person is going to do the same thing that the last person did to me. So I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of love or intimacy. I'm afraid of the pain happening again. If I started a business and I failed in the business, and now I've got an opportunity to start a new business again, am I afraid of the new business? No, I'm afraid that I'm going to recycle the failure of the last business into the next business, and then bankruptcy becomes part of my life. So
Wow.
what I believe is that fear not only isn't real, but it also is a opportunity for us to transform ourselves. So when I'm afraid of something and my button gets pushed, you know, that experience where my button gets pushed and I'm maybe a deer in a headlight for a moment, or I'm paralyzed or whatever, such a great opportunity for me to breathe, to realize I have the power and that it has nothing to do with what happened yesterday or last year. It's right here, right now. What am I up to? What is my vision? What am I committed to? And then take a step. When we take a step, we're transforming our relationship with fear. That's
Wow.
courage.
Wow, 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 wow. And I'm reminded of the story of Ford, right? When he said to
Yeah.
his engineers, I want this 8-cylinder in one block. And they said to him, nope, it's impossible, can't happen. They went away, grumbling, mumbling. A year later, guess what? Still can't happen. And he said, go, because he was so committed AF to his vision. This
Mm-hmm.
man, mind you, I don't know, did he have more than a 6th grade, 7th grade education? No, these were engineers of engineers who are PhDs and the like. He's telling them, no, go do it. And guess what? Eureka, aha, they came back and they said, we did it. Mind
Mm-hmm.
you, now, Ford had already failed, already gone through financial
Yep.
woes in a company prior to that.
Yep.
So if he had taken on this notion of the false evidence appearing real, he would have been remembering, oh my gosh, I've already failed before. I went through bankruptcy, whatever. Now I'm going to be telling these important men, oh, do it. I'm going to look like a fool when they come back and say you're a 6th grade education. Who did you think you were?
Exactly.
And he held the line and he held the line. And that's a visionary leader. And wow.
Exactly. One
Wow.
thing I want to just add to that is the past does not dictate the future unless you allow it.
Wow. What? Yes. Oh my God, Michael, you're like bombs, bombs. Unless you allow it, the past has no power over you. You have dominion over you. God says you're created just below the angels. So angels are here. You are here. Do you know who the angels are? They have power infinite. They serve in the army of God. If you're just here, my loves, power, power. You have power, you have dominion. You get to co-create your life. Fear has no power over you. Somebody hashtag fear has no power. Fear has no power. Moving on. My other favorite, responsibility. This was such a new concept. Level 4 was, we're like, wait, what? Talk to us about the distinction and the difference between I'm going to take responsibility because we feel like we're doing a good thing. Okay, I'll take responsibility for it. The buck stops with me versus I am responsible.
Well, we all struggle as human beings with responsibility because we're essentially victims, and we're in a victim culture and we're domesticated into being victims. Like life is coming at us from the moment we're born until the time we find out we have a choice. And by the time we find out we have a choice, we don't really have a choice because we're so trained into thinking that I am my mother, I am my father, I have their life. look where I live, look where I come from, look at my education, look at my culture, look at my economic status. It's like all of these things we inherit when we're born and we come into the world. And then we get into this thinking that we don't really have a lot of choice over our lives. And so we just kind of, take whatever we get. And so it's that mentality that I don't have power. So responsibility is the ultimate power. When I am responsible, what I'm saying is that I have the power to create, I have the power to cause, I have response ability, the ability to respond, not react. React is a victim. When I react, I'm victimy. I'm not powerful. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm herky jerky. It's like this cause and effect. You're doing this to me. But see, think about this. I'm in charge of my career. I'm in charge of my finances. I'm in charge of my abundance. So I'm going to go sit down with my boss and enroll my boss in giving me a raise, and enroll my boss in seeing the value of giving me a raise. What am I doing now? I'm responsible for creating the money I want in my life. That's much different than, okay, I've got to have a meeting with my boss. And then I go into the meeting with my boss and I'm like in the firing squad, and my boss is running the meeting, and my boss dictates whether I get a raise or not and how much. When I show up in my power, I'm leading the staff meeting with myself. It starts with what I say to myself when I wake up and I look in the mirror. Hi, Michael. How are you? Who's in charge of your life today? Is my wife in charge of my life? Are the circumstances in charge of my life? Or am I the source of my life? Do I have the power to create? That's what responsibility is.
I mean, the whole place has been on fire since you started this distinction. Holy Toledo. I love this. The responsibility, right? I am not reactive. I have the ability to respond. I am in power. I'm in control. Boom. Love, love, love. Okay. Number 8, distinction, communication. Give us a quick hit on communication. Why
Communication. Expert communication is both speaking and listening. So speaking from my heart, speaking authentically, being consistent with my vision and my values. Listening. Listening is essential in relationship, essential in communication. Not only listening like in a passive sense, but really listening in a generous way. I call it generous listening, where I'm not just listening to the words, but I'm listening to the music. And there's an acknowledgement of the music, of the intention of the other person. When people feel heard and they feel like you're getting them, they're going to be much more open to what you're saying and what I have to offer. So it's a two-way street.
Love, love, love. Absolutely. So many times we're not listening to it. We're just listening for the pause so we can jump in and respond. Seriously.
Yeah, which is not really listening.
It's not listening at all. Distinction number 9, obstacles. Obstacles. Let's talk about that.
Well, most people see an obstacle as a thing, like an it. Again, that's happening to me. So obstacles, leaders turn obstacles into opportunities. So there is no it. It's only my relationship with it. And so when I see that my relationship with whatever it is will either create opportunity, create possibility, or create breakdown, then a leader chooses to create opportunity and possibility. We've all heard the expression, turn lemons into lemonade. Well, no leader who has ever been a leader in business, life, family, community has ever lived without obstacles. We all have obstacles. So when I'm owning my vision and I'm committed to it, I'll always find a way. There are infinite ways. There's not one way.
Yes. And in fact, we know this from the great Thomas Edison, who said he found, right, 9,000 plus ways not to make a light bulb. And when
10,000 ways not to make the light bulb.
10,000, thank you.
Plus
Exactly.
His house was on fire and all of his stuff burnt. Everything, all of his records, all of his process, all
Yeah.
burnt to the ground. But he didn't give up, and he didn't sell out, and he didn't quit.
Didn't give up, didn't sell out, didn't quit. And one of the things that I think was another Edison quote, it says, people miss opportunities because it shows up in overalls and looks like work. Right.
Totally. Of course.
So think about that. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to do this workaround. I thought this was going to be super easy. Now I've got, and then you miss a big opportunity to cause and create. Love it. Number 10, distinction, wisdom. It puts me in mind of Solomon. When Solomon was, gosh, anything he could ask from God, and he could ask for wealth and riches and all of it. And God said, because you asked for wisdom and understanding, because you want to be a better leader for my people, that was his first, right, being in radical generosity. Help me be a better leader for your chosen people. And God gave him wisdom and understanding. And then he said, and on top of that, so here comes the bonus now. the limited time bonus, because you only asked for wisdom and understanding, I'm going to give you wealth and riches and abundance untold. Like Solomon had so much wealth, it could not be counted. So go, Michael, wisdom. Why is that a distinction?
Most people think of wisdom as something that happens after the fact, like hindsight. So something happens, let's say a breakdown happens, or something doesn't turn out the way I want it to. Then they look back and they see what happened, and they feel guilty about it, or they feel at fault, or they feel ashamed, or whatever, and then they tell themselves, I'm never going to do that again. And then obviously a lot of times we do the same thing over and over again. Wisdom is the application of lessons. Wisdom is the application of what I have learned in such a way that what I do next, or what I create next, is a brand new possibility, something that will not repeat the breakdowns of the past, but create the breakthroughs of the future. Ultimately, wisdom is foresight, seeing the breakdown before it happens, correcting it before it happens. When I'm in my leadership at a very high conscious level, I can see that if I continue to be this way, or continue to do this, this is what will occur. So leaders and master leaders are playing chess, not checkers. Ooh. They can see the moves and adjust and adapt before the breakdown happens.
I love it. Everybody get a chessboard, start playing chess. I love that. Distinction 11, character.
Character is the person that embodies the vision, embodies the values, and they don't have to say a word. They walk the talk. We all know the difference between, let's say, an actor playing the role of X, and that could be an influencer. It could be a coach sometimes, it could be a trainer, could be a lot of people that claim to be this or that, but it's the walking the talk that creates character, and character comes into the room before you do. When you open the door and you walk in, there is that genuine, authentic reputation that precedes you, and that generates a deep level of credibility that can never, ever be taken from you.
Absolutely. It's one of the things, this quote is attributed to Jeff Bezos, where it says, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it right there. And distinction number 12, which we touched on a little bit before, creating leaders. This is what you're all about. This is a fire starter. This is us being like the light that's going to light the pilot light, and then off we go. Why is it so important that we get to create leaders as we go?
Because we don't live in a vacuum. We are, as Martin Luther King said, interconnected, interrelated human beings. We are individual, and yet we impact, and yet we affect everybody around us. So my vision is to create peace, love, unity, and abundance for everyone. So if I'm going to create that, it's common sense. In order to cause it, I get to create like-minded leaders who are as committed or more, as passionate or more than I am about that vision. so that the vision comes alive in their life and the people they impact and the people that they influence. And ultimately, the rippling effect will occur and transformation will happen. So if
It's
I
yeah,
win, that's great. You win, that's great. And a gift is not a gift unless we give it away. And
yeah,
when we give it away, what do we have? More or less. So if I love you, Faith, and I give you love, do I have less love because I gave it to you? No, my love is expansive. And when
yes,
you give your love to someone else that I gave to you, look at it. It just continues to grow and grow and grow. Just like scarcity is a mindset that's a disease running rampant in our culture.
yeah.
Desperation, isolation, fear, pain, these are like almost a disease running rampant in our culture. We can create peace, love, unity, abundance, trust, integrity, and create that to impact the world. So that's what mastering leadership is: creating leadership in other people so that they take hold of the vision and lead the way.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And I'll just wrap this section by saying a candle doesn't lose its light when it lights another candle, right?
No,
And
no,
so here
gets
we go.
bigger.
It gets bigger. All right. So before we shift into the next segment, I'm taking one viewer question, and this comes from Kathy from Las Vegas. She wants to know how do you shift people who are stuck into psychological assessment as their way of being, whether they're high performance people who have done well, have had levels of success? They don't see that they're stuck, and they think this idea of beingness is too woo woo. So, shout out to Kathy from Las Vegas for that question. How do we shift
Well,
people who are
in
stuck?
in my experience, I've got to build trust with the person, and I've got to create an opening with the person. So if I don't build trust, then they're not going to respect what I have to say. And if I don't create an opening with the person where they can drop their walls, drop their defense, and be intimate with me, then I'm going to be talking to a wall. Also, this is a person who clearly has been damaged by previous relationships where trust was violated, because that's an incredibly cynical thought. So I would also consider, depending on the relationship I have with this person, being an interruption and telling the truth. Radical honesty.
Yes, love, love, love that. So we're going to shift now. We talked about a couple of leaders, and I thought I would bring on some leaders of leaders for you to share in their ways of being, their thoughts. So this is, I'm going to remove myself so everybody can see the screen.
I can see the picture, by the way.
Okay. So what would you say? We're coaching the audience now based on these words of wisdom from Dr. King. How would you use this as a way to coach into taking this advice? Faith is taking the first step.
Well, I think it goes back to courage. So he's talking about risk taking and courage. So most people need to know something or be able to, they want to control the outcome of something before they commit, like a relationship. I'll trust you and I'll give my heart to you as long as you promise me you're not going to break it. So
Yeah.
what I know about love is that you can't control it and you can't guarantee it. So in order to fall in love, be in love, it requires faith. In order to create an abundant job or career or start my own business and be wildly successful at it, it's going to require faith and courage and risk. And no, I cannot control the outcome, but I can commit myself and dedicate myself to seeing it through until I have the results.
I love it. Love, love,
Accepting
love.
the risk.
Yes. Yeah, this absolutely speaks to distinction number 6. So, Momentum Crew, if you have questions as we go, just go ahead and type them in the chat. Second, leader of leader, Nelson Mandela. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. Use this as a platform to coach into the audience on their ways of being to be like this.
Yeah, I mean, I love Nelson Mandela. Tremendous respect. You know, most of us, many of us, we are surrounded by cynicism. We are surrounded by skepticism and people that want to put a wet blanket on joy or love or possibility or intimacy or vulnerability. And so when we open ourselves up and we allow ourselves to let our vision out, our passion out, our joy out, then we are creating permission and possibility for other people to let go of their cynicism, let go of their fear. You know, I believe, like, for example, you know, men often are taught that vulnerability is the sign of weakness. So when a lot of men get together, you know, it's a almost like a bunch of cavemen together beating on their chest. And when one man is willing to be vulnerable and authentic and speak from his heart, what often will happen is it will be like a domino effect, creating the permission for other men to open their hearts and be vulnerable as well. And so when I'm in my vision, when I'm in my heart, I create that possibility for others.
Love that. Especially, I love that coaching for men, because that is, I think, an area where a lot of work gets to be done. And last but not least, I had to bring on this leader of leader, Captain Jack Sparrow, who says, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Coach the people into this, give them wisdom and understanding on how to apply this to their daily lives.
Well, going back to something I talked about before, which is it is not the problem. It is not the breakdown. It's my relationship with it. So this is another way of saying that. So my attitude, it's how I'm seeing it. It's my perspective about whatever the situation is. So just because I'm in a challenging situation doesn't mean that it's bad. Just because I'm uncomfortable doesn't mean it's bad. Most people are looking for comfort, but comfort doesn't lead to breakthroughs. Comfort doesn't lead to going to new levels and taking your life to new levels. What does is releasing comfort. So having an attitude that is consistent with abundance, prosperity, joy, love, freedom makes all of the difference professionally and personally. A lot of people have really a negative attitude, a cynical attitude, but where does that come from? The past. So we get to let go of the past. We get to embrace now so we can create the future.
I am so just beyond the words. I'm so beyond the words. Michael Strasner, I'm going to ask you to indulge us for just a few more minutes. I'm going to give you the stage. I want you to speak from your heart to the Momentum Crew, to everybody else all over the world who's going to be watching. Just share some wisdom, share some knowledge, share some inspiration, whatever comes.
Well, life is an honor and a privilege. Let me start with that. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is an honor and a privilege. And so many of us are living our life as if we're waiting for something to happen, or waiting for somebody to change, or waiting for somebody to somehow make it better for me. And what we are not realizing is, at the level that we could, is that I have the power within in order to create the life that I want, my vision, my health, my relationship to work, my family to be intimate and joyful and fun and so on. And it takes commitment. It takes redesign. It takes reinvention. It also takes learning. Many of us use our brains, our minds, not to really learn anything, but essentially to confirm what we already know. So I believe for myself that when I stop learning, when I stop allowing myself to be in discovery, then that growth will stunt my development, but also stunt my capacity and my ability to create the life that I want. The reason that my relationship with my wife is thriving is because I'm in and we're in a constant state of discovery. We're not living off or siphoning off the past. Like, I don't sit around with my wife and talk about or reminisce about how wonderful our relationship was 10 years ago. And don't we wish we could capture that moment from 10 years ago? We're creating it today. We're creating it anew, fresh. We're always learning from each other. We're sharing with each other. We're giving each other feedback. Here's what's working in the relationship. Here's what's not working in the relationship. Here are some requests that I have from you. And we'll both seek out from each other what would make me or us or our relationship work better for you. And then we listen, and then we really get it, and we hear it, and we acknowledge it. So we're in a constant state of discovery. And if you do that in your personal relationships, but you also do that in your business and in your life, then you'll have the power to create success, sustainable success, and then build upon that success for and throughout your life. I've been in my own business now for 25 years. I started out before the internet, before social media, and throughout these last 15 years or so, when social media has really taken off. And I've never had to rely on social media to launch my business or make my business successful or sustainable. And I believe that when the vision is clear and we're committed to the vision, and then we live values that are consistent, then we will create whatever the results are that matter to us and that we declare, regardless of the methods. We're in a world now with technology where technology can become an incredible tool that we're using, to create that vision and to manifest that vision professionally. But it's not the only way. What matters is personal contact, personal relationship, creating trust, creating team, creating like-minded visionary leaders to partner with me. And when I do it, and when we do it, we can create explosive results and experiences in life. So life is a gift. Give it away. You're a gift. And as Faith said, you're a masterpiece. And not just a masterpiece, you're also the master of peace. And when you are living your vision and your dreams, you will be in a tranquil, blessed place, and that will refresh you every day throughout your life.
Michael Strasner, I am beyond grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're a light personified. You're absolute light personified. I am grateful to you. Momentum Crew is grateful for you. Thank you for taking the time. Everyone, here is the book. If you do nothing else today and give me a buy when, if you don't have it, it is available on Amazon.com. Go get this book. You will be forever transformed and forever transforming. It's an ongoing journey, but the journey gets to start, and it gets to start here. And how blessed are you that you get to kick this off with the master himself, the master, Michael Strasner.
Thank you so much, Faith.
Everything about you is beautiful.
Thank you. I love you. It's a true privilege and pleasure to be here today. And to your whole crew and everybody on, have an amazing day and give it away.
Oh, I love it. Take care, Michael.
Okay.
I mean, No more words. I'm just going to wrap. There's nothing else to be said. If you missed it, go and hit replay when we are done. The replay will be available. This is everything. I have waited on bated breath for this moment to be in such a stance of generosity with Michael, to give this work to the world and to be a part of it. And if there's any part of me that helps to light this up, that somebody else knows about this book, and now you all get to be the fire starters. Now you know. Now you can't say you didn't know. You can't say, Michael, who? Now you've met the master. Go be the fire starter. Get the book. Christmas is coming. Hanukkah's coming. Go buy some. Give these as gifts. This is what I love to do. This is why books are such a core and a foundation of who I am. Go give it away. Get it and go give it away. Momentum Crew, we're overtime, but listen, hey, we don't care. Prices we're willing to pay is to be overtime. So this beautiful work, this beautiful message can be out. Everybody, thank you so much. Yes, it was totally amazing, amazing, amazing. Everybody, yes, he's a total master at inspiring people. This is who I get to play with. Like, this is what I'm telling you. When you do leadership work and you know how to be in your leadership, you can attract and create these wonderful, beautiful things in your life. So we'll be back next Monday. We're going to continue reading from Michael's book. We're going to wrap this in October. And as I mentioned, he's definitely going to come back because he's also the author of Living on the Skinny Branches. And that is also another beautiful must read. So Momentum Crew, love you guys. Go be awesome. Go be a fire starter. Michael, I'm taking that now. That's going to be part of my new way of being. Go start some fire. Love you guys. See you soon.
No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.